Namaste, welcome back. Shall we move on to the 16th question? Yes. Here we have to consider both, that is Wien's displacement law as well as I have not turned display. Wien's displacement law as well as Stefan's law, because temperature is the one which connects both. Wien's displacement law says that if you draw the energy distribution curve for different wavelengths or intensity distribution curve, it will be like this. As the temperature increases, the total energy emitted by a black body goes on increasing, but maximum emission occurs for a wavelength whose value goes on decreasing. So initially maximum wavelength is emitted for this one at a temperature T1, say. At a temperature T2, T3, temperature is increasing. At a particular temperature, maximum emitted wavelength is this one. Next temperature, the maximum emitted wavelength will be different one. Even for this one, the emission of wavelength has increased. But highest is for this one now. Next, the maximum emitted wavelength is this one. So Wien's displacement law, it gives the idea. The maximum emitted wavelength means maximum intensity occurring wavelength and the temperature of the black body are inversely proportional. So the wavelength for which maximum emission occurs, maximum intensity emission occurs, is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature. So lambda m into T is a constant. So here is a relation between lambda m and T. Now what about Stefan's law say energy, Stefan-Boltzmann law, energy radiated is directly proportional to 4th power of absolute temperature. So energy or intensity is directly energy per second per unit area it is, right? Not simple energy. Energy emitted per second per unit area, that is power per unit area is directly proportional to 4th power of absolute temperature. Then okay, now T you have to connect. What about the problem here? I think you can rub this now. Problem goes like this. The power radiated by a black body is P, and that is for emission of wavelength lambda naught. Now we will connect it. Power P, lambda naught, let it be at a temperature T naught. Then how do you connect this? We will see that. If the temperature of the black body is now changed so that it radiates a maximum energy around a wavelength of 3 lambda naught by 4. Now maximum emission occurs for this wavelength, which is lesser than this lambda naught, right? That means you have increased the temperature. Let it be at a temperature T, and let it T dash I will call. Let it be at the total power emitted be P dash. It will be more, right? You have seen that curves. For lesser temperature it will be here. For more temperature the curve itself shifts and the area under the curve will be more, and more energy emitted by the black body. Okay, now P dash is 3 lambda naught by 4 in now we connect this one. Lambda naught into T naught. Lambda into T is a constant. 3 lambda naught by 4 into T dash. Here you get a relation for T dash. Lambda naught gets cancelled. 4 T naught by 3 is equal to T dash. So one relation we have got. Now first power, energy emitted per second, P, is directly proportional to T naught to the power 4. Next power, P dash, is directly proportional to T dash to the power 4, which is nothing but, so P dash is directly proportional to T dash 4 T naught by 3 to the power 4. Now divide them. P dash by P is equal to P dash by P is equal to so how much is this one? You have to 4 4s are 16, 4s are 64 into 256 256 by 81 T naught to the power 4 by, what is P dash? P dash, P dash by P, yes, P dash by P, P is T naught to the power 4. Got it now? This one is 256 T naught to the power 4 by 81, that is written here. Then P is directly proportional to T naught to the power 4. This gets cancelled. Now P dash is, or I will write it here. P dash is equal to 256 by 81 times the initial power. New power is 256 by 81 times the final power. They want the change in power, right? What is the around a wavelength of what is the power radiated by it will increase by a factor of s. They want the change in power. That means final power minus initial power. What is that? 256 by 81 P minus what is that? Initial power P, correct? Initial power is P. Yeah, initial power is P itself, or P naught. I should have considered it as P naught. Okay. What is this? 81 common. 256 minus 81. 81. 5, 7, 1. 175. Oh, you don't have answer. Correct? 6 and 15, 2. 175 by 81 P. I think we have to correct it. 175 by 81 P. So it's changed so that it radiates a maximum energy around a wavelength of 3 lambda naught by 4. The power radiated by it will increase by a factor of. How much it will increase? Increase means you have to take the difference. Final power is 256 by 81, that is correct. And initial power is P. Increase by a increase to a factor of. If it is increases to a factor of means this answer is correct, but increases by a factor of this much, 175 by 81. So you have to change any one answer, say 175 by 81, change it. Okay, so increases by means extra thing you have to write, that is 175 P by 81. Okay, by a factor of 175 by 81, P is not needed. Okay, that is the 16th one. 17. A Carnot's engine working between 27 degrees Celsius and 327 degrees Celsius extracts 5000 joules from the source in each cycle. Okay, the area of its PV diagram. Area of the PV diagram is nothing but work done. Okay, area of the PV diagram is work done. Now, how to find out the work done? You know, efficiency eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. That is equal to work done divided by heat energy absorbed. You can write this as 1 minus Q2 by Q1 also, but this formula suits because it extracts 5000 joules from the source. That means it absorbs so much of energy. That is Q1 supplied to the engine. Now 1 minus, what is T2? T2 is 327, T2 is lower temperature of the cold reservoir, that is T2. Cold reservoir is at 27, that means 300. Okay, we'll write 273 plus 27 by T1, 273 plus 327. Hot reservoir, T1, that is equal to work done, that is what is needed, by heat energy absorbed, 5000. 1 minus, what is this, 300 by 600 is equal to W by 5000. Now we want W itself, right? Work done, working between the area of the PV diagram, that is work done. So what is this one? This is by 2, 1 minus half is half is work done by 5000. Finish. Bring this 5000 here by 2, 2500 joules. Okay, 18th one. A circular ring of mass 6 kg and radius A is placed such that its center lies at origin. Okay, a circular ring of mass 6 kg and radius A is placed such that its center lies at origin. Okay. Okay, that means in a ring, uniform ring, the total mass is concentrated at the center of the ring. Its center of mass is the center itself. So I can write 6 kg here. Instead of writing 6 kg throughout the ring, I can write it at the center of the ring. So what else? 2 particles of mass 2 kg each are placed at the intersecting points of the circle with positive x-axis and positive y-axis. Okay, at positive x-axis 2 kg and positive y-axis 2 kg. 2 masses are kept, placed at the intersecting points of the circle with positive x-axis and positive y-axis. Then the angle made by the position vector of the center of mass of the entire system. Entire system's center of mass will not be at the center because there are 2 more 2 kgs here. where is the center of mass, join it to the center, what is the angle made by that center of mass, the position vector of the line joining the center of mass. Where is the center of mass now? If you want to find out the coordinates of center of mass, you know the formula. X, m1 x1, m2 x2, m3 x3 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. This is how. Similarly m1 y1. So what is this 0 0? What is this? And it is the circle of radius a. So this is a0. And what is this? 0 a. Y-axis is 0. X-axis is y-axis is a. X-axis is 0. X-axis is a. Y-axis is 0. And 0 0. What is the coordinate x? Where are the x coordinates? So we will. So center of mass should lie somewhere here. It is like a triangle, right? So here is 2 kg, and here is 2 kg, and here is 6 kg. Center of mass should lie somewhere here inside the triangle. I don't know where it is exactly. We will find it out. X, m1 x1, 6 into 0, m2 x2, 2 into a, m3 x3 plus 2 into 0 by m1 plus m2 plus m3, 10. What is this? This is 6 into, these are all zeros. Only 2a by 10, that is a by 5, 1. What is y coordinate of the center of mass? Y coordinate of the center of mass, m1 y1, where is it? Yeah, m1 y1, 6 into 0 only, plus m2 y2, 2 into 0 now, there is no y coordinate, this one, plus 2 into a divided by 10. What is the answer? Answer is again a by 5. So center of mass lies at a by 5, a by 5. What do you mean by that? Say you move, this is a, right? Move by a by 5 like this, move by a by 5 like this, so you will get the center of mass somewhere here. That is a by 5, a by 5. If I can exaggerate the diagram like this, center of mass lies in this point such that this is a by 5, this is a by 5. Now what is the question? What is the angle made by the position vector of the center of mass of the entire system? This is the position vector of the line, that is the line joining the center of mass and the origin. What is the angle made by this? Take tan theta, opposite side by adjacent side, a by 5 by this one, a by 5, 1. What is theta? Theta is at 45 degrees. So it is this answer. You can do this just by inspection, because you see, whenever you have two equal masses, see in the center of finding the center of mass problems, suppose you get two equal masses, there is a shortcut method, right? If these are 2 kgs, 2 kg, 2 kg, what is, how can you replace these? It is like a weightlifting instrument, right? Yeah, 50 kg here, 50 kg here. Lift it from the center, you feel 100 kg. So shift this 4 kg here, center. Am I right? For 2 kg, 2 kg, 4 kg. Now what are the other masses left behind? Instead of this, 4 kg is kept here, and 6 kg is here. So where should be the, and this 4 kg must lie exactly at the center of this line, right? And that must divide this triangle equally. And the remaining masses are 4 kg here, 6 kg here. Where should be the center of mass of this 6 kg and 4 kg? It should be somewhere here only, on this line only, right? And wherever it is on this line, this makes 45 degree, because these two sides of the triangle are equal, and hypotenuse center is joined to this vertex, definitely divides the triangle into two equal halves. So this angle should be 45 degrees. Simple, by inspection you can do it. Okay, 18. A charged particle in an electric field of 5 into 10 to the power 3 volt per meter is found to experience an electrical force which is 2 into 10 to the power 8 times the weight. The force experienced by the charged particle in the electric field is 2 into 10 to the power 8 times the weight. If G is so much, specific charge of that. Specific charge means charge per unit mass. You divide the charge of any particle, divide the charge of any particle by its mass. Per unit mass, for 1 kg how much will be the charge? Suppose electrons, what is the charge of electron? We say it is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. It is for such a small electron of mass 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Suppose electron would have been, suppose the electron was 1 kg mass, what would have been its charge? Charge per unit mass. Yes. A charged particle in the electric field of so much is found to experience an electrical force. Electric field is the force experienced per unit charge. What is F equal to? EQ, which is 2 times that 2 into 10 to the power 8 times its own weight. mg I can replace. EQ is equal to 2 into 10 to the power 8 mg. Okay. Now they want specific charge per unit mass, Q by m. 2 into 10 to the power 8, m has gone here, into g, 10 I will take. They have asked you to take 10 also. Bar E. What is this? 20 into 10 to the power 8 divided by E. 5 into 10 to the power 3. 4 times 10 to the power 8 minus 3, 5. Coulomb per kg. Charge per unit mass, coulomb per kg. 4 into 10 to the power 5. Very easy. Right. 20. The work done when an alpha particle moves through a distance of 10 centimeter in an electric field of so much along the direction of the field. So there is an alpha particle here and it contains 2 protons inside, 2 into 1.60, 2 into 10 to the power minus 19, that is its charge, and it moves in the direction of electric field because positive charges always move along the direction of electric field. And what is the work done after moving it through a distance of 10 centimeter? So work done is equal to force into displacement. Work done is equal to, F can be replaced as EQ into X. Work done is equal to EQ. E is 5 into 10 to the power 4. Q 2 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Because proton, it is 2He4, right? Alpha particle. 2 protons. Displacement 2 centimeters or 10 centimeters, 0.1 meters. 10 centimeter is 0.1 meter. Now what is the answer? W is equal to. Do you have different numericals? No. You have different, don't have different digits. 1, 6, 1, 6, 3, 2, 3, 2. So you have to work it out. 10. This I will take it 10. So 1.6 into 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power minus 20, 10 to the power minus 15. Correct? Anywhere gone wrong? 10 to the power 5, minus 19, minus 1, minus 20, minus 15. I think it's right. This one. 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 15 joules. Simple. 21. A square frame of side 0.05 meter is situated with its positive normal making an angle of 45 degree with a uniform field of 10 root 2 volt per meter. The flux of electric field through the surface. There is an electric field like this, okay, and there is a surface like this kept, not normally, it's this normal making an angle of, color chalk, yes, making an angle of 45 degree with the direction of electric field. So this is normal and this is electric field, like this. What is the flux of electric field through the surface bounded by the square frame? You know, delta phi, flux through any surface, is E delta S cos theta. It is the angle made by the normal with the electric field, cos theta. Delta phi is equal to electric field. What is electric field? 10 root 2 volt per meter. 10 root 2. Area. Square frame of side 0.05. 0.05 can be written as equal to 5 into 10 to the power minus 2. Correct? Square. Length into breadth. It is a square frame. So 25 into 10 to the power minus 4. Cos theta. Cos 45 degrees. I have directly substituted. Cos 45. Area 5 into 5, 25, but 5 into 10 to the minus 2. 10 root 2. So root 2 gets cancelled. Delta phi is equal to 250 into 10 to the power minus 4. But there are some millivolts, right? Okay. 1 minus 1 donate it to this. 25 into 10 to the power minus 3. 25 millivolt per millivolt meter. No. 25, not 50. 25. I usually do these types of mistakes. I talk something, tick something wrong, right? That is how I show, don't do like this, right? That I am showing an example that you shouldn't do like this in the exam. Usually that happens in the exam. You get you feel very sad because you work out it and you get the correct answer, but while selecting you go wrong. So don't do like that. That's what I am showing, okay? 25 millivolt per meter. Yeah, millivolt meter. Yes, 22. Energy stored in the capacitor of 100 microfarad. Energy stored in the capacitor of 100 microfarad charged to 6 kilovolt is used to raise a mass of 50 kg. The maximum height that it can raise is. The energy stored is used to raise it. So both the energies are equal. Energy can be equated in any way, because energy can transfer from one form to another form. So half CV square, what the energy capacitor stores, let us assume that there is no loss, completely used to raise the object, mgh. After raising the object, the energy of the capacitor is converted into the potential energy of the object. Energy stored, half capacitance 100 micro, V square 6 kilovolt, 36 into 10 to the power 3. V square, yes. 10 to the power 3, 6, right? 6 kilo whole square. 36 into 10 to the power 6, half CV square is equal to raise a mass of 50 kg. G10, H. That is the question, H. This is 50. Why can't I cancel with this 50? And bring this 10 here. 10 to the power, only 36 by 10 is equal to H. Correct? This 10 will come here by 10, but this will cancel. So only 3.6 meters. Yeah, 3.6 decimeter, centimeter, millimeter, 3.6 meters. Option 4. 23. Two capacitors with capacitances C1 and C2 are charged to potentials V1 and V2 respectively. Okay, let us charge C1 to connect C1 to one battery and connect C2 to another battery. They get charged to the different values of voltages. When they are connected in parallel, whatever be the situation, when they are connected in parallel, voltage should be same. They should adjust it, whatever be the level of water in two beakers. When you connect them by a pipe, water level should come to the same value. Okay, when they are connected in parallel, the ratio of their respective charges is in parallel. So we have only this formula, Q equals CV. In parallel, voltage is same. There is no question. Whatever be the history, whether they have been connected to a battery or whether they are charged, discharged, whatever it is. Once they are connected in parallel, voltage should be same. So Q is directly proportional to C. Then the ratio of their respective charges, Q1 by Q2 is equal to C1 by C2. That's all. Nothing else included. Okay, 24. 7 resistances are connected as shown in the diagram. Yeah, this is a good problem. You can't simply go on solving it. It finally reaches to Wheatstone's bridge. Because you see, always when you reduce the circuit, we have given in many classes, the points where they are asking you to find out the resistances. Those two terminals should not be lost at any cost. Yes. Here is one resistor, here is another one, and here nothing, and here is 5 ohm, and here is one more, and here 2. Okay, then here one more. It's a Wheatstone's bridge actually. A is here, right? It's somewhere. Okay, I will take it as the same one here. A is here, and B is here. Okay, 6. I'll write only the numbers 3, 8, 10, 10 and 5. Now A. Wherever it is possible, you really just squeeze it. That means replace it. 10 parallel 10, 5. 10 into 10 divided by 10 plus 10. A is not lost. 5. 8. I can't replace 8 because there are so many resistances in between. 6 parallel 6, 3. 6 into 6 divided by 6 plus 6. Shall I put it in series with 3? B is lost. Careful, you shouldn't lose B at any cost. So this is 3 and B is here only and this is 3. Right now, won't it look like Wheatstone's bridge? Yes, A is here. So shall I bend it a little bit? I'll take this two upwards and these two downwards. Okay. So how we can realize the circuit now? So it will be like this. This is 5 and A comes here. And from A, I can directly connect these two like this. From A, directly 5 ohm to the 8 ohm which is coming from here. 8 ohm like this, 5 ohm like this, 3 ohm like this, and this 3 coming to B, and from here 3 ohm. 5 by 3 is equal to 5 by 3, balanced. 8 ohm has no significance, no current flows through that because it is a balanced Wheatstone's network. 8 parallel 8, right? If you remove this 8 series here, 5 plus 3, 8 parallel 8 is 4 ohm. 8 into 8 divided by 8 plus 8. So very easy. Finally it is very easy, but don't go on replacing. So 6 parallel 6, 3 plus 3, 6, because where is B? They are asking you between B, A and B, right? Option 2, 25. 5 dry cells, each of EMF E are equal to 1.5 volt and R is equal to 1 ohm, are in parallel combination. 5 dry cells are in parallel combination, okay, across 0.5 ohm. So you have a 0.5 ohm external resistance and we have 5 dry cells like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 dry cells are in parallel combination across 0.5 ohm. Okay, each of 1.5 volt, 1 ohm. 1.5 volt, 1 ohm. 1.5 volt, 1 ohm. Now, when the cells are in parallel, effective EMF is same, but internal resistance will be R by N. R resistances in parallel, equivalent resistance is R by N. So, the thing is, here, you can replace it as 0.5 ohm external resistance by a single battery because equivalent is same as the single one. 1.5 volt and equivalent resistance is 1 by 5 because 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 1 ohm parallel. It is 1 by 5. Okay. Now, what is I? Their question is to find out the main current. I is equal to E by R plus R. E is 1.5 volt divided by R, external resistance 0.5 plus 0.2, 1 by 5, internal resistance 0.7, 1.5 by 0.7, you have that same answer, right? 1.5 by 0.7 ampere. 26. Resistance value of a carbon composition resistor is 2700 plus or minus 270 ohm total. They have given the tolerance percentage variation themselves in the resistance itself, not in the form of color coding or percentage. Percentage we have to find out. 2700 ohm plus or minus 270 ohm. That means 2700 ohm resistor may have any value between 2700 plus 270 to 2700 minus 270. That means what is the percentage variation? What is 270 out of 2700? 270 out of 2700 is 1 by 10, that is 0.1%, right? Sorry, not 0.1%. 1 by 10 means, again into 100, 10%, right? 1 by 10, this is fraction, that implies 1 by 10 into 100, that is equal to 10%. Did you get that? Out of 2700, variation is 270. What is out of 100? I have multiplied it at the end. Out of 100, the variation is 10%. Which is the color used to represent 10%? 10% is represented by silver, right? Gold 5%, silver 10%, and no color 20%. Okay, now what are the colors? 2700 ohm, 27 into 10 to the power 2 ohm, 2700. 2 red, 7 violet, and this is 2 red, and then silver, correct? Hope you have followed. Red, violet, red, it is 10 to the power 2, so silver. So red, violet, this suits, right? This suits with this one, previous one. So red, violet, red, silver, that is the answer. So only the thing is you have to get the percentage out of this. Out of 2700, variation is 270. What is out of 100? You can multiply here itself 100, and that gives you 10%. Yes. Problem 27. At what temperature the resistance of a conductor will be double the resistance at 273 Kelvin? What is 273 Kelvin? 273 Kelvin minus 273 gives 0 degrees Celsius. So 0 degrees Celsius is 273 Kelvin. At what temperature resistance of a conductor will be how much? Double the resistance at 0 degrees Celsius. We know resistance at any temperature is resistance at 0. These are all degrees Celsius. 1 plus alpha T. Resistance at any temperature is resistance at 0 into 1 plus coefficient of temperature coefficient of resistance into T, temperature difference, 0 to T. Right. What is RT? RT should be double that at 273. That means 0. 2 times at 0, 0, 1 plus at what temperature, and alpha is given 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 T. R0 gets cancelled. Our job is to find out at what temperature it is. 2 minus 1. So we will write one equation. 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4t. 2 minus 1, 1. 1 is equal to 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4t. T is equal to 2.5 divided by 1 divided by 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. This is 10,000 when it comes to the numerator. 10,000 divided by 2.5. Is it not? Is it right? 10 to the power minus 4. Yeah, alpha t. Yeah. 10,000 divided by 2.5. That is equal to 1 lakh divided by 25. Multiply and divide by 10 because I don't want fractions. 25, 4s are 100, remaining 3 zeros. 4,000 degrees, this is 4,000 degrees Celsius, not Kelvin. 4,000 degrees Celsius, not Kelvin, because we have already, this temperature is in degrees Celsius, not in Kelvin. Okay, 28. Match the column first with column second and select the correct answer. Usually this type of questions will not be is not asked, but still you can rely on this because it gives a lot of ideas. Biot-Savart's law. It is the only law which gives the magnitude of magnetic field. That mu naught I dl sine theta or mu naught I cross dl divided by r square. That gives the magnitude of magnetic field. So A can be equated to magnitude of magnetic induction, Biot-Savart's law. I don't know whether you can see this or not. Right hand thumb rule to find out the direction of magnetic field around a current carrying conductor. Direction of magnetic field around a current carrying conductor. Fleming's left hand rule. The force acting on a current carrying conductor, right? Direction of force due to a magnetic field, current carrying conductor. Fleming's right hand rule, direction of induced current, yes. So what is the situation now? AP, right? AQ, BP, you have AQ, BP and CS. AQ, BP, CS, DR, yes. AQ, BP, CS, DR, yes. Option 2. Right. A wire, remember we have worked it out. in one of the class. A wire PQR, just I have given this to see whether you can remember the things whatever is done in the previous classes or not. A wire PQR is bent as shown in the figure. Okay, wire is like this. PQR is bent as shown in the figure, and it carries a current and placed in a uniform magnetic field. Length PQQR, everything is A. This is A, this is A. What is the force? Force acting on any current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, BIL sin theta, or I into B cross L cross B. Now L cross B, cross product sin theta. Since this is parallel to magnetic field, this side, force on PQ is 0. No force acts on this because sin 0. This is sin 90. So what is the answer? Force acting on this, B, I and L sin 90, 1. So 0 and BIA. 0 and BIA. Force acting on the whole conductor shape like this is 0 and BIA, because this is parallel, this is perpendicular, maximum force. Okay, next one, 30th one. An electric current passes through a long straight wire, okay, at a distance of 5 centimeters from the wire. Let me note it down. An electric current passes through a long straight wire at a distance of 5 centimeters from the wire. The magnetic field is B. The field at a distance of 20 centimeters from the wire, what is here? And now the Kabaddi match is between magnetic field and distance. How they are related? Mu naught by 4 pi 2I by distance, correct? Mu naught by 2 pi I by r, mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r, because I restrict my first sentence as mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r. If it is so, B is inversely proportional to r. Shall we do it directly? Shortcut. Distance has been increased 4 times. Magnetic field should decrease 4 times, because it should decrease by a factor of 4. By 4. What is the first one? B by 4. That's all. Right? Distance has increased by 4 times. Increased to 4 times. 5 centimeter, 20 centimeter. Magnetic field should fall by a factor 4 times. B by 4. Option A. First one. A long, thin, hollow metallic cylinder carries a current, right? Metallic cylinder of radius r has a current I ampere. The magnetic induction B away from the axis at a distance of r from the axis varies as S. How does the magnetic field vary? As you move from the axis away and outside also. So here is the hollow sheet, and you can make a sheet into a cylindrical form and pass the current through the sheet, or you can assume that it is made up of a number of wires joined together. So what is the magnetic field along this? And you know, if this sheet is assumed to be made up of many wires like this, what happens is, so like this, you have many wires like this. If you take 2 wires at the top and the bottom, here and here, where is my pen here? I have if you consider a wire here and here, so it is made of a stacked wires like this, and it is a sheet now. Or if you cut the sheet into a number of wires and join them again, how will be the magnetic field produced by each wire? This wire will carry a current like this, and you see the magnetic field produced here inside. What about the magnetic field produced by the wire which is diametrically opposite here? It will be producing a magnetic field inside. So this one inside like this one towards you, and this one away from you. So if this along the axis here, if this produces a magnetic field like this, when I take a current like this, say current is like this. If this wire produces a current inside like this, what about this wire? It produces a current outside like this, right? They cancel each other. So as you move away from the axis, you will get some current. So inside a tube, you can get a magnetic field. Inside a hollow tube, magnetic field is 0. And outside, you will get it inversely proportional to R. Just we have written a equation. So this is the equation, graph. Inside there is no electric field, there is no magnetic field. Outside it varies. On the surface, just outside the surface, you will get something. But whereas for a wire, cylindrical solid wire, not hollow wire, inside it is directly proportional to R, and outside it is inversely proportional to R. For a wire, cylindrical solid wire, inside it is directly proportional to R, outside it varies inversely as R. Okay, now it is this equation, this first one, because hollow tube has no magnetic field inside. Okay, 32, as if we have hollow spherical shell has no electric field inside. Okay, 32. Shall I switch on some light? 1 minute. It is getting darker. Yeah. A magnetic field of 1600 ampere per meter. Okay, a magnetizing field of 1600 ampere per meter. It is the intensity of magnetizing field. That is the magnetic intensity. You see the unit. Either it should be magnetic intensity or it should be magnetic moment. Same unit. Produces a flux of 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 Weber. 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 Weber. In a bar of iron of cross-sectional area 0.2 centimeter square, centimeter into centimeter, 10 to the power minus 2, 10 to the power minus 2. The permeability in, okay, what is the permeability? Yes, in SI system they are asking you, so I don't have enough chalks here, somehow I have to collect it, yes. Okay, now from this you can find out magnetic induction, total magnetic field. Flux per unit area. What is flux? 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 divided by 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. This is 2.1 times 1.2 times. This is 10 to the power minus 5 together cancels with this. Answer is 1.2. That is magnetic induction B. Flux per unit area. As if you have electric field. It is also flux per unit area. And what about they are asking you permeability. B is equal to mu into H. Correct? What is mu? Mu is equal to permeability is equal to magnetic induction to the magnetic intensity. Magnetic intensity is first one. B is 1.2 by H. H is 1600. Is it not? Right. Let me multiply and divide by 10. 12 by 1600, one more 0. 16,000. 4 2 3s are 42000. 4000. Right? 4 4s are 16 and 3 zeros. Okay, 3 by 4 is 0.75. If I take it as 3 by 4, 1000 will remain into 10 to the power minus 3. Am I right? I take 1000 separately, 1 by 4 I will write, that means 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is 0.75. 1000 becomes 10 to the power minus 3. 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Yes. 32 over. 33, do I have time? Yeah. I will start it later. Okay. For 35 we will have one more video. Thank you for watching. We'll meet again.